Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about what happened during my 30 days of lion diet. I'm actually still on it, so it's day 39 or something like that. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what happened in the first 30 days, why I went lion, some of the things that came up, and all some of the food that I made too. So that's what today is about. So let's start off with why I decided to go lion diet. I have actually had a lot of people asking me that in my group and in the comments. Why are you doing it? What are you hoping for? That kind of thing. So let's backtrack a little. For those of you who don't know, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I started as just a low carb, just started cutting the carbs. And that was around having a high weight of over 320 pounds. So up to this point in my life, I've lost about 145 pounds. So that journey has taken a while, and there's been lots of stops and starts and stalls and restarts, but the trend has been down, and that is the important thing. So it seemed like the first 80-ish pounds were quite easy. From low carb, I did quickly go into keto, after a year or so. And so I spent a number of years under the keto umbrella, which basically is, meat and vegetables. And my issue was lots and lots of keto treats and replicating foods that I was eating from the, regular standard American diet world. As a result of that, I kind of got stuck after a while at around the 80-ish, 90, 100-pound mark. I would, go up and down, up and down, up and down. And so a few years ago, I started hearing about the carnivore diet. The very first person I heard about it from was stumbling across a blog that Kelly Hogan had started. She still has a blog, but they've revamped the website, and she mostly is on YouTube and Instagram. I'm going to link her below because she's been such an inspiration over these years. And as inspiring as it was at the time, I still didn't dive in. I kind of dabbled with it. I did a 30-day challenge, had no idea what I was doing. I just ate meat, did lose some weight, went right back to keto because I thought it was just a little too out there. So that's a little bit of context leading me up to 3 years ago, approximately 3 years ago, when I decided to do carnivore for real. I had just started my YouTube channel. I was still making keto recipes on there. Most of the recipes on my website called ketogenicwoman.com are keto. I mean, there is a lot of stuff that can be adapted to carnivore, but I really came from the keto world. And the reason I decided to go carnivore was because I wasn't progressing. I felt I needed to give it a try and see, what's going on here. Why am I just kind of shuffling back and forth, up and down a few pounds here? What I didn't know at the time was that until I went carnivore and kind of did a bit of an elimination, I didn't know that I had so many food sensitivities to various plants and many of the foods that I was including in my keto diet. So I started off with just eating the meat. And I decided, shortly thereafter to do 30 days of very strict as an elimination, because I heard from a lot of people that was a good thing to do. So, it was almost like lion diet, but not quite, because I was still drinking coffee. I was still having dairy. There was still, a few things that were in there, but it was stricter than probably what most people do on carnivore. So I did that, and I started discovering things as I brought foods back that I really did have quite a sensitivity. The first thing that I discovered was black pepper was really an issue. It gave me severe acid reflux, heartburn at night. And then I gradually, when I would go to a restaurant or something and maybe say have Greek salad, with some meat, things like that, it really became clear to me how affected I was by especially nightshade vegetables. I can count on my one hand how many vegetables I can eat without having any type of acid reflux issues or digestion issues. And so almost everything else causes a reaction in me. So I thought, okay, carnivore is where I need to be. I mean, it's simpler. I don't have to worry about what is affecting me. I don't have to worry about staying up all night. By this time, I had weaned myself off of a 15-year medication for acid reflux. And I had heard about all the side effects and dangers of it. And so I really wanted to get off that. My doctor was actually in agreement, and she gradually reduced my dosage until finally I just took it into my own hands, because I think the lowest dose was 10 milligrams. And I started to have it every other day, and then I just quit having it, and it was a bit of a struggle. It's a hard medication to get off of. And so I used a lot of apple cider drinks that I learned about from Serious Keto, how he got off his meds. And so I did all that and have been completely off that medication for almost 3 years now. So, I went into carnivore with a lot of hopes and just thinking, okay, this was going to be the final solution for me. And it more or less is. Weight loss did continue slowly but surely. So, I over the last three-ish years, I would say I've lost another 40-something pounds. Some people want to know the exact progression of how much I lost on keto versus carnivore. There's so much overlap that I don't really know. The lines are a little bit blurry, because every now and then I went back to keto, like say for a vacation, or I went back, just because I was struggling and it was easier to take some foods back. I just never went back to standard American diet. I've always been kind of moving on that continuum of what we, a lot of us now call, because of Dr. Berry, we call it the proper human diet, with, low carb being on one end and maybe strict lion diet being on the other end. And there can be movement back and forth, and there certainly was for me. But some of the things that I have improved for me, other than the acid reflux and digestion issues, is I no longer have plantar fasciitis for the most part. My skin is doing pretty good. There's, I just feel a lot of health and vitality that I didn't feel 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So going again, talking about the lion diet, why did I decide to go from carnivore to lion diet? Is because my mind has been curious over the last little while. The question keeps popping up. What if you gave up those last few things? Like what would happen if you tried lion diet for 30 days? What would happen if you gave up sweetener? What would happen if you gave up coffee? What kind of results might you see? As many of you know, those of you that follow me, that I recently canceled my knee surgery that was supposed to happen within the next year or so, because the inflammation just so greatly reduced to the point where I really have no pain anymore. My knee is stiff sometimes. I have to be careful. Not careful, but I mean, if I walk more than 10,000 steps a day, which I do, sometimes it can feel a little stiff in the morning, but there's no pain, and I can walk 10,000 steps in a day, sometimes up to 15,000, and I can climb up and down ladders to prune this crazy wisteria I have in the backyard, and I can do the sorts of things that I wasn't able to do 20 years ago. That's been a miracle just right there. Plantar fasciitis completely gone. I have no foot pain left at all from that time. And if any of you have had that, you know how painful that is when you get out of bed in the morning. So I've been asking myself these questions. What more healing could happen? Could I lose a few more pounds and a few more inches? I'd like to. Maybe this would be a way. Could I have less inflammation even? Could I stop these flare-ups that happen on my nose and, this area, this rosacea thing that happens with me? Could all those things resolve themselves? I hear so many amazing stories, and I decided I just wanted to go all the way and see what happens. And I'm going to tell you about some results in the last segment of the video. But those are my reasons why I went. It was to see what more I could get out of this way of eating. So let's get into the first, I guess I'll call it an obstacle. Okay, so made the decision to go lion. I had also been watching Christina Mathewson. She is a fellow YouTuber, and she had started doing lion right around the time I started thinking about doing lion. So I watched her with great interest. She started changing before my eyes. Her skin looked great and her hair. And I mean, she's a beautiful woman regardless, but she just really changed. And I could see that she was having great success on the lion diet. So she inspired me. And her and I talked. I invited her to come to my channel and help me kick off my first 30 days. And so we did that together. I'm going to link our talk below. It was great. A lot of people, it was a very popular talk on my channel. A lot of people came and asked lots of questions, and it inspired me to just jump in and start. So thank you, Christina, for that. My biggest fear, my biggest hurdle in all of this was thinking about the coffee. As you know, or maybe you don't know, and I'm just going to say it now, lion diet is ruminant meats, water, and salt. That is it. No more. That is it. So that means no coffee, no dairy, no pork, no chicken, no eggs, no seasonings, no sweeteners, all that kind of thing. And so I was afraid. I have to say, I was scared. I didn't know how I would function. Would I be able to function? What would it be like not having coffee? There's some people who I told I was doing this, and they looked scared for me. And they're like, are you sure you want to do that? So what I did about the coffee was I decided that a week before my first official day of lion diet, I would switch completely to decaf. And I did that. So just went off the caffeinated coffee, went through a week of having decaf every morning. I had no effects from that. I didn't feel anything. I had my coffee. Everything seemed normal. There is a certain amount of caffeine in decaf, and so I guess that took the edge off for sure. And then I did day one. No coffee, no decaf coffee. I just sat there with a glass of water. It was just the weirdest thing. The earth did not swallow me up. I made it through the day. I did not have a big headache, so maybe going decaf for those few days is what I needed to do. For I would say the first 3, 4, maybe even 5 days, I did not feel as sharp as I normally do. I felt a little bit on the foggy side, and I felt like I wasn't at my best, but I had no major headaches. And so that surprised me, and I'm thinking it was because I did that 1 week of decaf first. So I'm glad I decided to do that. what I quickly discovered was that I didn't miss the coffee anywhere near as much as I thought I would. On day 2, I got the idea of doing bone broth. I mean, I didn't get I had heard it from other people, but I thought, okay, that cold glass of water that I had first thing in the morning, on day 1 was not very satisfying. I went through the whole morning thinking something was missing from my life. and so I thought, okay, I'm going to do bone broth. That, in my mind, that was a good decision. And it was really nice to be just hanging on to that hot cup of something. It just helped get me through. There was something familiar about it. This whole thing, this is a mind thing for sure. This whole thinking of the coffee and that morning ritual and everything, the bone broth did the trick. Now I have some kind of bone broth every morning. Or meat broth. It's either bone broth or meat broth. Either of the two work for me, and it's very satisfying to have it in the morning. It kind of gets me through those first, few hours. I get up quite early. I'm usually up 4:30 or 5. I am, still doing a lot of work for my former employers. And I do those things early in the morning, get them out of the way, and then I have my first meal and do stuff I want to do. So one of the things that I did like to do is I put in some electrolytes in the bone broth, so it kind of took the edge off everything. So that's how I handled the coffee. And what was strange about it, I was so scared about giving up the coffee that it didn't prepare me for how much I missed things like butter. I really, that first week or so, I was sitting there with different meats going, gee, I wish I could put butter on this. So that was the surprise craving that I had, was butter. It didn't seem hard to give up, the pork and the chicken. I love pork belly just as much as the next person. Bacon, I had already kind of cut back almost to only if visitors came or I was in a restaurant or something, because bacon had become a bit of a problem food for me. So I had already been consciously cutting that back. I had already eliminated the sweeteners. I had been drinking Element with the stevia, like the flavored packets. I had already switched over to the raw unflavored. So, I had been doing a lot of things, not in preparation for Lion Diet, but it helped me in my transition to Lion Diet because there was less things for me to get rid of. So really the only things I was getting rid of on that first day was coffee, decaf coffee, dairy, and the any sweeteners, residual sweeteners in like a natural flavors in your LaCroix or whatever. Gave those up too. Like nothing. Like there's literally meat, salt, water, and it's ruminant meat. So that is what I'm doing right now. And so I had already given a lot of things up, and that helped a lot. Okay, so I get a lot of questions. What am I eating and drinking on Lion Diet? I'm going to be showing you some of the meals and talking about some of my favorite things that I ate. But we already started to cover the drinking part because it really is just water or bone broth seem to me to be my only choices. I don't know if there's any others out there, but those are the only two that I felt comfortable with. In my bone broth, as I mentioned, I do use the Element raw unflavored. It doesn't contain the natural flavors that the flavored ones do, nor does it contain the stevia. So if you are trying to do the strict carnivore or Lion Diet, then that is the one I recommend. I know many people say that you don't need electrolytes on carnivore, and that you don't, or on lion diet. I find I do. I find I get those muscle cramps at night. It's just something that's always plagued me. And this was even on standard American diet. I had muscle cramps at night. So, is it just me? I have no idea. I just have been using Element for a couple of years. They are sponsoring this particular video today, so thank you, Element, for that. And I really want to just say that for lion diet, the raw unflavored is the perfect way to go. While I was doing lion, I also decided to try their raw unflavored recipe and their lime flavored recipe from their website. They have the recipes on there. So I'm going to link that video below because it is perfect for people who are doing strict carnivore or lion diet, or maybe are insulin resistant. And so the reason that I like staying with Element now, even though I'm on lion, is that they do have that science-backed formula of 1,000 milligrams of sodium and 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. And that just seems to work for me. So I'm sticking with it, and you guys can make your own. The recipe, I'm going to link that below too. Or you can try out, if those things aren't a problem for you, you can try out their other flavors as well. And if you want to order the raw unflavored from their website, I'll just let you know that they do offer my viewers this 8 flavor sample pack. It does come with 8 flavors, including the raw package as well. The other ones have the stevia and natural flavors, but you can give those to a friend, or if you don't have the issues I described, you can try them yourself and see which ones you like. When I was doing just the regular carnivore, I did wear my CGM and tested all the flavors, and they don't budge my numbers, but you need to figure that out for yourself. So if you want to try that and get the 8 flavor sample pack, then go to drinkelement.com/ketogenic woman. That's DRINKLMNT.com/ketogenic woman. And it will be added to your cart when you make any purchase from their website. So thank you, Element, for sponsoring this video today. So that is basically what I drink on lion diet, is plain bone broth with the unflavored Element, and water. I would say that since starting lion diet, my water consumption has probably tripled. I think because before I wasn't doing these things. I was just having coffee, busy, running around, all hyped up. No time to go and get a glass of water. I don't know what it is. Somehow I'm drinking way more water. Maybe I have more room for water because there's less coffee in me. But I kind of count bone broth as water because, to me, that's part of my fluid consumption. I know that for coffee, you shouldn't count coffee as part of your fluid consumption because it tends to dehydrate. So anyways, that covers drinking. There's not really much else to say about what to drink on lion diet. But the eating part, wow, okay, so I was sure that, I would become bored very quickly and started missing my old favorites. And I tell you, I just haven't yet. I honestly haven't yet. It just seems that the longer I'm carnivore and now that I'm on lion, the more I'm used to having the beef, the more my body wants the beef and lamb. I did eat a lot of lamb during the first 30 days, and I continue to do so because I really like lamb. Between those two meats, there's so many different cuts. I mean, and I made so many different cuts. I mean, we're talking rack of lamb. I made that in the first week. I made it in my air fryer. It was delicious. All of these things I'm mentioning, I'm going to link below if I made it in on my channel. If I made it in the 30 days, I'll link it below for you so that you can check it out. But yeah, rack of lamb, oven braised beef shanks, lots of like chuck steaks, blade steaks, sirloin cap steaks, all those things. I love steak bites. I could eat steak bites every morning. That is one of my favorite breakfasts now. Okay, I'm having some steak bites. It's my 3rd day of Lion and things are going well so far. I do have a nice ribeye steak here that I found in the freezer. I'm gonna cut it into cubes. This is one of my favorite breakfasts. Now, some of you are probably wondering, why don't I just cook the steak whole? I do that sometimes. I like the steak bites because all the edges are crispy and the inside is, however you like it, like whether you like it rare, medium rare. Just making some big cubes. The air fryer is going to be at 400 degrees for 5 minutes because I do like these medium rare. I'm going to put them in the little air fryer basket here, the parchment liner. Some salt would be good too. Let's get these steak bites in there. Oh yes, look at these. So that's what I like, is when they're crispy all around the inside. I will definitely try to eat this whole pound of steak. Let's see what we have here. Oh, look at that. This looks so delicious and smells. I never get tired of it. I made a whole whack. In fact, I did it twice. I made a whole big pot full of collagen stew. And for those of you who know what that is, it's basically beef and beef tendons. So delicious, so good for my knee and my joints. It is super high in collagen. I made that. I also made something to help keep my fat up, because I think it's really important to keep your fat higher on when you're doing Lion. It keeps you satiated. It made my ketones go up, which was crazy because my morning ketones are usually less than 0.5, 0.5 or less. And now I'm, every morning 1.1, 1.4, even, 1.5. So I'm really happy about that. But getting the, eating the fatty meats not only gives you the fat for your hormones and your ketones, the fatty meats seem to have more collagen in them. And a lot of times you have to cook them low and slow, but that is just fine. I need that collagen for my knee. And to get omega-3s, I focus on lamb. Lamb is higher than omega-3s than many of I think all of the other meats, other than seafood, right? But the ruminant meats for sure, it is the highest in omega-3. And so I've been enjoying a lot of lamb. The other thing that I made was, and I just love these. I'm on my last one today, so I'm going to have to make some more. The Crunchy Lion bars. It is basically just tallow and crunchy bits. The crunchy bits idea I got from Michaela Peterson's website, and she's kind of the person that coined the phrase Lion diet. So I think we all owe her a debt of gratitude there. And so I took her crunchy bits, I mixed them with tallow and made what looks like these little bars. And having that on the side of my plate, especially if I'm having something leaner. There was one night when, I was trying to shop from my freezer this month too, get my freezer empty. It's half empty now. I found a flank steak in there, which is fairly lean. And so having a flank steak is, you need to add fat to that. So adding my crunchy tallow bar to it just did the trick. And so it's useful like that. It's also useful as a snack to get you through if you need a snack. I find I don't snack anymore, but every now and then, if my dinner is later than normal and my first meal of the day had been earlier than normal, I'm usually just having 2 meals a day. Sometimes in between, that crunchy Lion bar is what does the trick and gets me through. So I think as I'm talking, you are seeing some of the delicious meals that I had in these 30 days. I've also made a playlist of all of the things that I did on Lion Diet, all of the meals that I have made on YouTube that are suitable for Lion Diet. You'll see those on the screen. So finally, before I let you go, I want to tell you the results. Let's talk about the results that I had this month. So before Lion, in my last month of carnivore, I was having a lot of dairy. I was having dairy almost every day. I had got to that point again. So this has been a good thing for me to cut out that dairy. And I also was going up and down the same 5 pounds. You guys know that routine, right? You go up and down the same few pounds and it just gets to you after a while. So I was at the top end of that. But as of this morning, I am down 7 pounds. So I am actually 2 pounds lower than what my lowest weight was previously. I'm actually very excited about that because it's this last run to, get to my goal weight, I have to fight for every pound. And, for that 7 pounds to drop off just like that in 6 weeks of doing Lion Diet has been amazing for me. And I'm just that's why, one of the reasons why I just want to keep going on it. It is not only easy, I'm feeling better. I'm having a less flare up on my skin. I feel like my nails are really strong. I have no hair falling out, which I'm really grateful for because that has happened occasionally in the past. My ketones are up. Measurements. Yes, I almost forgot to say that. So
I'm going to get my little piece of paper here.
I have lost 1 inch off each thigh. I've lost 2 inches off my hips and 2 inches off my waist, and about a 1/2 inch off my bust. So I am pretty happy with that. I have started trying to pay more attention to movement as well, making sure that I do get minimum of 10,000 steps a day, doing my squats, getting back into the resistance training, and just overall activity, just trying to be an active person. I've been doing a lot of heavy lifting out in the yard, and so I just feel like now I have the energy to do these things. So, and my ketones are just really good every morning, as I mentioned earlier, which I feel is important for my goal of maintaining good brain health. As many of you know, my why that has really finally connected me with knowing that this is a lifetime proposition. This is not a diet I'm going off. This is something that I will be working on until the day I die. I have no plans to ever return to what people call normal eating because I don't believe it's normal anymore. I believe what I'm doing now is more normal than normal standard American diet. This is what my ancestors thousands of years ago, this is how they ate. And it is the proper way to eat. It is the proper human diet, in my opinion. So I'm going to continue on. And, when I took care of my mom for those last 5 years of her life with dementia, being overweight and having all the other medical afflictions that she had, my why became not to be in that position. And that's why I take it so seriously. And I feel like it's never too late for anybody. I hope that you have enjoyed this video and maybe learned something. Please check out the playlist. So it has both interviews with Christina. So Christina came with me at the beginning to jumpstart me into Lion Diet. And she is going to be on my live stream to share her results, because she's, I think, on something like day 80 by now. I'm on almost day 40. And while we haven't done that live stream yet, by the time this video is out, that live stream will have been done, and that link will be below as well. So you'll get to hear what her results were when you check that out below. So thank you so much for watching this and for all your encouraging comments throughout my 40 days and counting of Lion Diet. I'm going to keep going. So yeah, we'll see you guys soon in the next video. Thank you.
So, Terry, do you want to do a cut now? I can. You can edit that out, right?
Hi everyone. Today we're going to show you how I eat your delicious roast.